What's up guys, Truck Palmer here with another video. Check out this running board installed on this 2014 Toyota Highlander. I installed these running boards which provide support to enter the vehicle as well as adding some style. Look at the original compared to the upgraded look. This upgrade looks much better to me, and I will take you through the unboxing and the steps to properly install these running boards. I have to give shout out to Yita Motor for providing these running boards. See a link to their website in the description below where you can find this running board and other products. Also in the description below is a discount code you can take advantage of if you decide to purchase this running board. It came in this box. Let's see what's inside. This is the installation guide. This box has all the brackets, bolt plates, washers and nuts needed. This is a close-up look at the running boards. It's made of ABS plastic, aluminum alloy beneath and stainless steel finish on top. It comes with 6 brackets. These 2 are for the center, these are for the rear, and these are for the front. These are all the bolt plates, washers and nuts needed. This is the installation guide. The installation guide provided and the installation process required to install these running boards on this vehicle are a little different, but I will take you through the steps. The process might be different because the installation guide provided in this kit is for year 2014 to 2018, which might have a slight manufacturing difference between years. These are the tools I used: a torque socket driver, a screwdriver, a regular socket driver, a 10mm wrench, a 14mm wrench. You might need a 12mm wrench, but I use this 12mm socket instead. It's your choice. I also will be using a 14mm and a 10mm socket. These power tools are optional, but they make the job easier. This is a multi-tool that will be used to trim the running board. You can use a handsaw or a heavy-duty scissors. This is an impact driver to remove nuts and bolts more quickly. Don't tighten anything with this, especially the bolt plates. If you use the impact driver to tighten the nuts and the bolt plates, this might happen. It can break the tackwell and this becomes useless. These are 2 extra studs that will be left over after the installation is completed. The entire process involved removing the edge of the splash guard, removing 10 rubber plugs, installing 10 bolt plates, installing the 6 brackets with the washers and bolts, reinstalling the edge of the splash guard, and finally install the running boards. Let's start the installation. I will be using this cardboard box and the foam as a bed. This vehicle is high enough off the ground, so no jack is needed. I will start on the driver's side. The first thing to do is to remove 5 bolts that hold the head of the splash guard. This is the splash guard. That's bolt number 1, that's 2, that's 3, and that's 4. A 5th bolt is right here. This 5th bolt is not mentioned in the installation guide, but removing it will provide more workspace. Now the edge of the splash guard is removed. Next, locate the 9 rubber plugs under the rocker panel and remove 4 of them. Starting from the front of the vehicle, remove number 2, 3, 6, and 8. This is number 2, this is number 3, this is number 6, and this is number 8. Now it's time to install the bolt plates in the 4 holes the rubber plugs were. The plates should be inserted into the uncovered holes and leave the studs outside. They should look like this. That's number 1 in. Something to note, there are 10 45mm and 2 40mm bolt plates. The 2 40mm should be used to install the rear brackets, and there should be 2 45mm bolt plates left over after the installation process is completed. The 40mm are obviously smaller than the 45mm. That's number 2 in, that's number 3 in, and that's number 4 in. One of the 40mm plates will be installed for the rear brackets, but I'll do that when I get to it. Now I can install the front bracket. Before I do so, I will need to remove a factory 14mm bolt between the second and third rubber plugs I removed. Remove the one to the right, but I removed them both to create more working space. They are both out. Now I will install the front bracket with 2 of the washers and 2 of the 14mm nuts provided. Place the bracket through the studs, then install both washers and 14mm nuts and tighten by hand as much as possible. Now I can reinstall the factory 14mm bolts. That's one. And that's the second one back in. These bolts and nuts should be torqued to no more than 20 foot-pounds, and I will do that at the end. When torquing, do it slowly and observe the bolt plates to see if it's turning inside the hole. If it is, use a screwdriver to stop it from turning while you torque the nut. Let's now install the center bracket. There is a 10mm bolt beside the 6th hole to be removed. I will shift the splash guard out of the way and use the impact driver to remove this. The bolt is out, so now I can install the center bracket. But before installing the center bracket, I will need to make a minor adjustment to the bracket. I will bend this end upwards for the hole here to align with the hole under the vehicle. This doesn't need to be perfect, and this angle is fine. I will now align the bracket and the washer with the stud. Then hand tighten one of the 14mm nuts to the end. That's done, so now I can reinstall the 10mm bolts I removed earlier. I'm using the impact driver to speed up the process. I won't go too tight with this. I'll torque the 10mm bolt to about 15 foot-pounds and the 14mm bolt to about 20 foot-pounds at the end. Now to the rear bracket. Remove this rubber plug under the body frame of the vehicle. One of the rear brackets is for the left side of the vehicle and the other for the right side of the vehicle. Ensure that the end here is pointing to the rear of the vehicle. As you can see, this one is pointing to the front of the vehicle, so it is the wrong side. I'll get the other one. This is the correct bracket for this side. Now I can install the bracket. I will install the washer and nut on this side of the bracket before installing the bolt plates on the other side. Align the hole in the bracket with the stud. Then install the washer and one of the 14mm nuts provided. Tighten by hand as much as possible. Now I am going to install the other bolt plate, washer and nut on the other side. Now it's time to torque all bolts and nuts to specification. Again, if you notice that the bolt plates are moving inside the hole, use something to stop it from moving. If this is not done, the bolt plates can pop right out on the heavy load. Now I am about to use the torque wrench to torque this nut to 20 foot-pounds. If the space is too small, like in my case, use a small socket and just torque by feel. I will use my experience to judge 20 foot-pounds. All 3 brackets are now installed. Now I'm going to install the edge of the splash guard with the bolts I removed earlier. There are some clips that the edge of the splash guard should be placed into. Now I will use the impact driver to carefully install the bolts. I recommend using a screwdriver or a 10mm socket though. The brackets are completely installed and the splash guard is back in place. So let's head over to the running boards. This end should be at the front of the vehicle and the other end to the rear. There are 6 nuts and bolts to the back that will be used to hold the running board to the brackets. I will first need to remove the bolt to do so. The bolts are now out, so I can now align the running board. To the rear of the running board, I will need to make a cut right here for the board to fit properly. If you look at the front of the running board, there is a cut right here for the running board to fit perfectly. There is no cut to the other end. Maybe other models do not need this cut, but this 2014 Toyota Highlander does. I will ensure this end is properly in place and mark where I should make the cut at the other end. I will use this multi-tool, but a small handsaw can work. I am starting the cut while the running board is on the vehicle to be more accurate. The cut should stop right here. This is perfect. Now the running board fits. It's time to secure the running board to the brackets. Align the studs on the running board with the holes on the brackets. Then install each bolt. Now I will use a 10mm socket to tighten the 6 bolts, but not too tight. The installation is completed for the driver side, and it's time for the passenger side. The steps for the passenger sides are similar, so I will go through the passenger side quickly. Now I am removing the bolts for the splash guard. Remove the 4 rubber plugs from the rocker panel. Starting from the front of the vehicle, I will remove plug number 2, 3, 6, and 8. Also, remember this plug to the frame of the car. All plugs are now out, and I will start with the front bracket. Remove the 14mm bolt on the right here. Install the bolt plates, washers, and nuts, then reinstall the 14mm bolt removed earlier. Now to the center bracket. Remove a 10mm bolt right here and install the bolt plate right here. I will make a similar adjustment to this center bracket, then install the bracket with a washer and a 14mm nut. To complete the installation of the center bracket, I will reinstall the 10mm bolt. Now to the rear bracket. Install the 2 bolt plates and make the same adjustment to the rear bracket. Then install the bracket with 2 washers and 2 nuts. The brackets are now installed. Now I can reinstall the bolt for the splash guard. That's done, so it's time to install the running board. Properly adjust the front to see where to make the required cut to the other end. Then make the cut. The front came pre-cut. Remove all 6 bolts, slide the running board in place, and secure it to the brackets using the 6 bolts. You might need to shift the running board around to ensure it is straight. That's it, guys. This is how both sides look. It is strong, guys, but do not try to break it. I can stand on it for washing the top of the vehicle. I can also stand on it to enter and exit the vehicle. This is perfect for kids. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit the notification bell to be notified as soon as I upload a new video. See you on the next one, guys.